Hi there. Good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from anywhere around the world. This is your host, Irfan Nurani, your clarity coach. And yet another, I've come back again with another episode of my podcast, Conversations with the Clarity Man, which is myself, Irfan Nurani. So, for people who are tuned in for the very first time on this podcast, let me give you a little bit about myself, who I am, and people who have already listened to me in the past with my previous podcast. Welcome back again, guys. Love you all, and I'm here with another podcast. So, Irfan Nurani is my name. People call me the clarity coach or the clarity man, and I really wanted to reach out to the masses with this platform, with this work that I'm doing, even apart and beyond the coaching that I do and help people. Right now, I'm on a mission to reach out to at least 3 million people in the next 3 years by 20 April 2023. That's what my mission is. So I come from a humble background. I started very young, did what I had to do to put food on the table, support my family, and I achieved a certain goal or certain success point, if you call it that way. But I really wanted to go out there and impact many more people to help them understand it does not matter where you come from. It matters where you are going and what are you going to do about it. So with that intent, I started this podcast. I started this work of publishing. I'm an author of 5 books. I've written Leading the Stoic Way, I Inspire, Dreams to Reality, The Book of Amazing People, and the 5th book, which is called Clarity, Focus, Fortune. And with this podcast, I intend to bring in some amazing human beings from around the globe who have done it, who have been there, who have gone through the struggle, who have seen through ups and downs, but they've arrived. They have arrived at a certain space, and they are still moving forward, so that you and me can learn so much from them and take our journeys forward. And this is the best time to do something like this, because we are all are sitting at our respective home at places, trying to figure the next move out during this corona pandemic, right? So with that, I want to there is someone very special today, right? There is an amazing human being who I have known for a few months now, close to a year, and it's an amazing guy. He is from the Bollywood industry. He is an amazing actor. He also comes from a space of, he did not belong to the Bollywood industry. He comes from a background where no one was there in this industry, but he started and he has reached a point of success in his life. So without further ado, I want to invite first this amazing human being, Manit Joura, who is on the call with me right now. Hi, Manit. How are you doing? Good evening. Can you hear us?
Very good evening, Irfan. Very good evening to all the respected people who are listening to us. And I want to really clap for Irfan, first of all. Reason
Thanks,
of
Manit.
this reason of this clapping is very few people have the courage and the heart to think for people. And I'm very happy that you have taken this initiative and you're taking it for next level and impacting million life. And I wish may you succeed in your mission to reach 3 million people by 2023. It's the beautiful thing. I am all in. Wherever you need me, I'm ready to help you. You're fantastic, Irfan. And I personally have spoken with you on many occasions, and I must say that you are the master of your craft. Let's begin. I'm super happy to
Thank you.
be there with you in your show.
Thank you. So I think Manit is being very humble and kind, and he has not enlightened all of us about what he has done so far. Let me enlighten a little bit what I know, Manit, with your permission, to tell
Yeah,
people who you are and what you do, and then you can add upon as well what is going on in your life and how you're
sure,
moving
sure,
forward.
sure.
So
Yeah,
as far as I remember, you started with Band Baja Barat, a Yash Raj banner, as a debut
yeah, yeah,
debut film,
yeah.
right? And you've
Sure, but
done.
before that, there was around 5 years of hard work before
Yes, I'm sure.
before this thing happened. As you
Sure.
said, as you yourself has mentioned that you came from a very humble background. I also come from a very humble background. Although I had a very cushioned life. I had a king size life in Delhi. I'm a Delhi boy. I started in Delhi and everything.
Great.
But when it wasn't enough, I mean, the my family business was all there for me. Um, I never thought about any other career because I knew I have to just grow up to be a businessman, to handle my father's business and to take it to another level.
Oh, okay.
And having said that, I was always a very responsible child and have a dream of doing something of my own. And having said that, I want to add to this: I never wanted to become anything, honestly. And I'm telling you very honestly, I had
Oh,
no
wow.
dreams of be anybody. Like if you ask me, as a child, I wanted to be everybody I met. I wanted to be an army officer. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be everything. And I don't know what future holds for me. And I was very bad at academics.
Okay.
Um, I was very bad at academics, and academics is another story with that. We'll have to not need another podcast to discuss about that. But
Okay.
there was there was there was a particular life, the way I wanted to live my life rather than being somebody. I wanted to
Okay.
live a certain life. So I never wanted to be anybody. I just wanted that this is the way I wanted to live. So I never gave myself that paradox or that that clutched environment, that oh, I have to grow in this, I have to be that constipated idea of going into a human being or something. I never wanted to have that constipated idea that I wanted to grow up to be something
Right.
like
You
that.
know,
Oh,
you just gave a very beautiful idea or an understanding of, you know, what you're just telling me right now is that I wanted to be a certain, wanted to have a certain kind of identity, a certain kind of lifestyle, certain kind of way of living, or certain kind of way of
yeah,
things for myself, and that
yeah,
actually
yeah,
help you decide what should you do. Is that correct?
yeah. That's absolutely,
Right?
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
I've
The
realized.
very first. Please. Mhm,
Sorry,
mhm,
I'm
mhm. Please,
interrupting.
please
So,
go ahead. Please go on. Yeah, no,
when
please
I
go on. Please go
coach
on.
people, and when I've come across a lot of people, like, I recently came back in December from Philippines about for my international speaking engagement, and I realized,
Sure.
a lot of people have no clarity about what do they want for their life as an overall picture of their life, and that's an important and a beautiful
Mhm,
thought to have,
mhm.
and people often forget, what kind of life do I want to live, and let me go back and reverse engineer that, and what should I be doing. That's also one of the ways to look at things, which you are telling me right now that you thought through, and you probably decided upon in this journey. Help me understand. So how did that led for you to be
Yes. Yes.
coming into this industry, the 5 years of struggle? So help me understand that. I'm sorry, I did cut and you had some thought process going on there. Yeah.
Very. No, 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 no. Absolutely, no problem, no problem. So before getting into this industry, like a borrowed idea of doing a lot, like I said, because I was through with my college and through with my higher school and everything, and all my my results were awaiting, and my friends were, some of them were going in aviation industry, and some of them were going in banking sector, and so on and so forth. And I
Okay.
was always very adventurous. I was very adventurous. I was an
Okay.
outgoing person, and I was a very outdoor person.
Right.
And I like sports and everything and blah blah. But I thought, okay, to support all of that, you need to have money. And I am a kind of person, I do not want to be dependent on my family. No, although I know how much ever I ask them, they will never say no to me. But this for me, because I have to be responsible enough for what I'm asking from my parents. So I thought I have to do something of my own. So I have studied aviation for some time, and
Okay.
there was a job I got selected in an interview or something, and they wanted to send me for the training and everything, and I did the training and everything happened. And when the job thing started happening, I started feeling suffocated, because there were too many instructions, there were too many, you have to be blah blah this. I was very disciplined child, I was a very disciplined child, I was a very respectful child. And but having said that, I never wanted too many too many instructions on me. I thought to myself that I am living an absolutely disciplined life. Why do I need to follow so many instructions? And now I know that when you're getting into a new field, you need to follow the set of instructions which they have set. So nevertheless, I went on and I did some work for about 3 months.
Okay.
And honestly speaking, I was feeling so suffocated.
Mm.
Although I did all my duties to the best of my abilities, and they were very, very happy with my response and everything. But I was very happy. A boy who is just 12th pass, who's just out of the school, and he's earning
Right.
around 35, 40,000, which was a shitloads of money for a lot of people.
Right.
And back then in 2004, 5, it was a lot of money. 35,000, 40,000 was a very. I had my own house, I had my own motorcycle, and I had my cushioned life, and everything was there, and I never had to cook and never had to do anything,
Great.
never washed my utensils, never washed my clothes, and nothing. And so, and I was very unhappy down in my hand. I thought I wanted to do something different, something which I want to create a life. And
Right.
heard a beautiful I heard a beautiful thing that you will waste your life if you will go on. I read it in the book. If you will waste your life if you'll go on searching for what you want to do with your life. Rather
Right.
create your life the way you want to create it.
True. True.
So
You know,
that so yeah, yeah, please go on.
yeah, this is the reason why at times when I coach certain people, they are so stuck with the thought that, what,
Yeah,
I don't know, I can't find my purpose, or can't find something that I really connect with. I have devised a mechanism where I take them through a certain thing, and I
correct.
allow them to go out and do the certain things. When they start doing that thing, only then, clarity appears at times. So
Mm-hmm.
this is very important for people listening out there. What we are trying to say here is, at times you have to, you have to do it. You have to start doing it. You have to start going out and start exploring things that you think you would love or you would connect with. Yes, go ahead, Manit.
And absolutely, what you said is absolutely right, and that prompted me to have another thought. Kind of, and in fact, what you said is very well said. There are people who do not have any idea that what do they want to do. They don't feel connected with themselves, or with the thought, or they with an objective or the goal or whatever it is, or the vision or anything. I personally think I have
Right.
met, because acting is a lot about human psyche, and I we read a lot about Homo sapiens
True.
and everything and blah blah. And so
Got
I
it.
kind of figure out there are people who just do not want to do anything because they feel peaceful. So why do they want to? Their life is already. They just do not want. When I say they do not want to do anything, just they do not want to take part in any kind of life drama.
Right.
So they are already living a peaceful life. Why do they want to unnecessarily impose a particular goal or objective or vision onto themselves to live at a particular life which they are not? So
Right.
likewise, I mean, see, this is the problem this generation is having, and I also had the same kind of problem. I was
Right.
imposing a lot. I was being a very result oriented. I
Right.
think rather than the day I stopped being result oriented, I produced all the more
Right.
results.
So, Manit, it's a great thing that you said. That you can't. What I believe in my coaching world as well, in my coaching industry as well. You can't help someone who does not want to be helped, or who you can't push someone to do something that,
Absolutely.
he's saying, I'm fine. I don't need a goal. I don't need a vision. But I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm more focused or more interested to help those people who said, what, I really want to do something, but I don't know how,
Absolutely.
or I am stuck,
Absolutely.
or I feel
Absolutely.
that, I have some
Yes.
fear, or some
Yes. Yes. Yes.
hesitation. Like you said,
Yes. Yes.
you had, say, like we're having an amazing conversation, an honest conversation. Like, you had certain things in place, like you had, a
Correct.
cushioned life, you said. You had
Yeah.
other things going well for you, but there are people
Yeah.
who are out there who don't have a certain key elements in place, and hence they
Yeah.
can't even focus on care. How can I start living for myself when my family needs this from me, or
Absolutely.
my father expects
Absolutely.
this from me, or my mother expects
Yeah.
this from me? So what do you advise to those kind of people? Whereas you can say, what, at least you start with this, or start doing this, or what is the mechanism now? Obviously, you're a well-rounded human being now. You've seen life, you've done work, you've gone into different roles and mentalities, doing your work. And let me talk about a little bit about, you have done Love Shagun as Sandy, you have done Solo, you have done Falsafa. There are so many things that you have done, so many different
Yeah.
identities.
Yeah.
So, what my whole one of my idea to, to have a conversation with you, because you see, what I realize, it's very important, realizing that I had, that each and every one of us are playing different identities. And the best person to understand this is someone like yourself, right? Because you have been in so many different identities and played the part and moved ahead and done things like a hero. So what would you advise or guide people to take up a certain identity when they want to be that person in their life, when they want to move forward? What are the things that they can start doing, maybe on a smaller scale, maybe on take one step on a day? Just put your thoughts across on this. I hope I'm clear. What I'm trying to say here.
Absolutely. The first thing I would say is just to completely simplify your life. The more you simplify your life, the more you will not find anything when you jumble up everything. So just completely take a 2 3
Correct.
day 4 days 5 days break, sit with yourself, not
Hmm.
don't be high on alcohol or anything. Just sit with yourself and you will understand slowly, and as you go along the way, even if you're
Hmm.
not getting the thought, it's just absolutely fine. And as you said, you have answered the query. What you said is, once you think, there are times when I'm performing a character, when I'm performing a different character, I'm stuck. I don't find the body of the character,
Hmm.
or the life of the character. I do when I see the make the background of the. Then what I do is, I just take one simple step. I try to connect the dots. The reason being, once you take one step
Right.
and you accomplish that one step, you will immediately have a certain amount of confidence in you.
Understood.
And
Understood.
that confidence will let you reach to the second step. And as you accomplish the second step, you'll go on to the third step. That's the only way. There is a very beautiful saying that if you want to do many things together,
Right.
do
Hmm.
one thing do one thing at a time, and you will reach to many. So there is no, if you will, multitasking and all of this is just a very, very clinical terms. It's a very these are very complex terms. I do not want to use all of them. There is
Yeah.
nothing called multitasking or the more you simplify your life, the
Understood.
more you. That's why I was just saying, because people have, lot of, already in their life they have so many complexities. Some of them they have picked up along the way, and some of they have been conditioned with. And I personally think the more you simplify life, the better. Just cut the clutter of your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
The clarity, when do we find, where supposedly I'm driving a car on the road, and when I don't see, because when there is so much clutter, either a fog or a dust or something like this. So
Hmm.
what you
Hmm.
need to do, either you need to stop the car and let the fog and dust subside, and then you cross the bridge. So
Right.
what you either, or you seek, or you follow somebody's car.
Understood.
like i like i
Understood.
like I remember I was driving one time. I'm very fond of traveling. I was driving one time from Rishikesh, and
Okay.
suddenly my headlights of my car conked off, and I didn't know what to do. I was driving at night, although I avoid driving at night, but that time I had to just come back because I had to catch the
Oh.
flight back to Bombay. So
Okay.
I was driving from Rishikesh, and suddenly my headlights conked off, and
Right.
I don't know what to happen. And it was pitch dark. I couldn't see anything. I thought it's risky to drive. I didn't have the confidence
Right.
to drive. So what I saw was, there was another gentleman who was crossing. So I looked at him and I waved. I just made a gesture of, can you stop? And he stopped the car. He said, what happened? I said, I can't see because my headlight conked off. Where are you heading? He said, I'm going till Karnal. I said,
Hmm.
can you drive ahead of me so that I can follow you? You can drop me halfway where I'll find the light, and then I'll drive off myself. He said, okay, no problem. You follow me. I'll drive on a, limited speed.
Bravo.
And
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Yeah, Manit,
I
you
started
gave
following him.
you
Yeah.
gave
Yeah.
such a beautiful metaphor of life. In life, basically,
Yeah.
like, if you can't see what someone else can see, you can just follow the lead, or find someone like a mentor
Absolutely.
or a guru, or a coach, or someone who can actually help
Absolutely.
you to a certain point, so that you are able to
Absolutely.
go beyond that,
Mm,
right? You don't feel stuck for
mm,
that moment. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I
yeah,
interrupted
yeah,
in between because I wanted to
yeah.
catch
No
that
problem.
so
So
that
the
people can understand. Yes,
yeah. So the reason why I gave this example, because you have to drive the car yourself. It's not that
exactly.
someone else will drive it for you. You have to
Mm,
drive yourself, but someone else, because they have the better clarity, so
sure.
they can, of course, and they have walked on that path before, so they can, of course, show you the path. So I maintained the 10 feet distance between two cars, and I kind of followed him for about 80, 90 kilometers, and from there I got the highway. I said hi to him, thanks to him, and I took my journey and I went ahead. So that's how I
Awesome.
reached back. So
Awesome. Awesome.
all I'm saying is, the firstly, just cut the clutter of your life. There are
Sure.
sometimes, when I say clutter, sometimes there are so many unnecessary attachments, and
True.
the way of sometimes we think, okay, if we smoke we get the clarity, we drink we get the clarity, we be on drugs we get the clarity. If you be high on life, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, Irfan, I'll tell you, I have figured this thing myself. I don't know what people think about it, but I all I need is clarity. Is the biggest drug. You cannot replace clarity with any other thing.
Wow. That's massive.
You It's the biggest drug, and it's very addictive. It's very addictive, and it's a very right drug for human existence, for any kind of homo sapiens. It's a
Yeah,
very right kind of drug.
it's
And
true.
there's another thing I want to add to it. People unnecessary, because somebody looks very gleamy and very confident and blah blah shit like that. There is nothing called confident, and don't chase confidence. Confidence is like a byproduct.
Mm,
It's like a byproduct. All you need to seek is clarity. The
right.
moment you seek clarity, you will already have a confidence. You tell me one thing.
Yes.
If I knew, if when I was driving back from Rishikesh,
Mm-hmm.
if I
Yes.
if my headlights wouldn't have turned off, and if I could see,
Right.
whether I would have been unconfident or a confident person.
If your headlights
if
were
if
not
my had if my headlights were working perfectly,
okay,
would I be driving underconfident, in a underconfident way or a confident way?
confident way, of course, because you can see through.
Confident way. That's the
100%.
answer.
No
So
questions asked.
confidence. So it's not that I decided to be a confident driver or a underconfident driver. What I seek is, when there was no clarity, I was underconfident. When there was clarity, I was confident. It's as simple as
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. So,
So
Manit,
so I
you
always.
gave something really, really valuable here. And I want to ask you, because you see, as time, often and again, we hear that people, oh, this guy is successful, he's doing well. But at the back end story of how a person reaches through, like, I remember one of the interactions, with one of my colleague that I had as well, while I was doing this work. Oh, it's like, oh, you did this so well, you just started, but no one knows the backstory. You said 5 years, right? The moment I
Absolutely.
said Band Baja Barat, Yash Raj Ben, and I'm sure you have worked with Hrithik Roshan, and so many superstars, and you have given a lot. Let me put it this way, right?
Yeah.
You have given
Yeah.
your time, resource, energy, practice, constant focus, everything. So help me understand. I'm sure you would have gone through tough times, right, within those 5 years, or even
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
beyond. When you are now, you have a better vision. You have a bigger vision and a dream that you're looking forward to. So during these, you must have a mechanism for you to come out of those uh, you know tough states, that things are not working your way, something is putting you off, something came up all of a sudden, and you have to battle with it, and you have to still move beyond, because you have a bigger vision, you have a bigger goal. So how did you keep yourself together, and what is the mechanism, or tool, or whatever strategy that you use, so that people can take some valuable insight from that, and they maybe start applying in their own lives. Maybe someone is going through a bad relationship right now, listening to this podcast. Someone maybe is struggling with health, as you rightly said. A lot of people, if they don't have clarity, they go to things like, which ideally they should not, like drugs, alcohol, whatever the case may be. So someone listening right now may be going through a tough time, and what is your mechanism, or your thought process with that, so that you are able to give something to these people in a more step by step manner, or something like that. If you can enlighten us, that would be really, really great.
Sure. If I'm firstly, I think that's what makes life interesting when there is a bumpy road ahead of us.
True.
Uh,
True.
be it when I say bumpy road, some of them are facing financial problems, uh, some of them are facing marital problems, some of them
Absolutely.
are facing health problems. We all let's accept we all have problems. I am sitting with you talking about life in
Sure.
whatever way little experience I have, or whatever you have that grand experience and whatever. But we all have somewhere in our in back of our head, we know we have the problem. Tomorrow morning we have the problem to deal with. you know
Right.
so
Right.
no one's life in this world is trouble free.
True.
And the problem the the biggest problem happens is when you start comparing your life with someone else's life. Like for
Yep.
me,
Yep.
success is totally different. My
Sure.
definition of success is totally different. Your definition of success is totally different. If there are 1 billion people on this planet,
Yeah.
everyone's success, I love to ask people, I love to interact
Yeah.
with people, and I usually ask them that what does success mean to you?
Yeah.
And
True.
trust me, they have. I was talking to my driver just before the lockdown. He was driving me once, and
Okay.
because of lockdown and everything, we were driving back from shoot, and I was just asking him. I said, Pramod, तुम्हारे लिए success का क्या मतलब है? So he said,
Right.
sir, success क्या होता है? मैंने कहा तुम्हारी लाइफ में सफलता का क्या मतलब है? सफलता बोला,
Right.
सर सफलता अब यही है कि अच्छी फसल हो जाए, हम फसल बो के आए हैं, हम अच्छी फसल हो जाए, और
Right.
अच्छी फसल हो जाएगी तो मार्केट में बिक जाएगी, अच्छे पैसे मिल जाएंगे, बच्चों को अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़ा लेंगे, थोड़ा ऑपरेशन करवाना है वो करवा लेंगे वाइफ का, और सब ठीक हो जाएगा. So I was
Right.
just thinking that, and I
So
told him, I
the
said, you
so
don't
the
worry,
guy,
don't.
yeah. So the guy said, your driver said, I just want to have a good harvest. I've just done the sowing part. I need to have a good harvest so that
Yes,
can make some money. Take care of my family, get the kids'
yeah,
education. So
yeah.
basic, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So all I want to say is the common connection between all the successes and all the definition of successes is to have a comfortable life.
Right.
Now I only think about one thing. If you are doing what you like to do,
Mm-hmm.
and there is one thing I want, I'm just going a little off track. Sometimes
Mm.
we do what we do not like to do what we like to do. Like, I'll give you
Understood.
an example. I know sometimes we want, like, I'll give you my example. I
Understood.
wanted to do films,
Right.
but I was not getting films because
Okay.
I didn't have a good acting background, good acting knowledge. I didn't belong to any school. I didn't have the good communications. I didn't
Sure.
have the professional qualifications. I didn't have any experience under my belly. I didn't belong to film background. I didn't belong to a wealthy background where they could produce a film for me. I didn't know any. I used not to attend film parties. I used to work very hard. The only thing I had was determination that I want to make it big in my career.
Understood.
Because the simple reason it my career gives me freedom to be what I want to be, and I
Got it.
wanted to live lives. I wanted to live lives. It's not
Right.
that you tomorrow, if you take away all the fans I have, all the fame I have, and whatever little things I have, you tomorrow, if you take it everything away, I'll get up tomorrow morning and still act. Because I don't do not act just because of fame and money and stardom and fans. And there are people, when I go out, they hug them, they cry, they give me letters, they give me flowers, they give me chocolates, gifts. I don't take it home. I don't let it go into my head. I complete, because what gives me a pleasure, a high, is a very beautiful scene when I deliver a beautiful scene.
Awesome.
Ultimately, it boils down to that simple thing. What gives you that high? It could be anything. Tomorrow it is giving me a high. Until this point of time, this gives me a high. I've got two horses with me. I
Yep.
always loved horses, and there
Yeah.
was a phase in my life for about 1 year where I just didn't feel like working.
Okay.
And I took the break and I went to the farm. I set up my farm. I grew some trees and stuff like that. So I have
Mm.
a piece of barren land which I bought it some time ago.
Right.
and I didn't have the place, I didn't have the funds to grow something there, I didn't have the funds to make it the way I wanted to make it. But I took that 1 year and I learned a little bit about agriculture, and through that,
Mm.
and I got I got 2 horses and I started. So for me, suddenly the objective of the life changed a little, because it started giving me that high. And as I spent almost 7-8 months at the farm, I realized I was down in my belly, in my heart, I was missing acting.
Right.
I was
Right.
missing acting, and I went back to my acting coach and I told him, I said, "Sir, I wanted to just take a at least 7 days workshop,
Right.
because I want to just completely revisit all the tools, all the exercises, and blah blah, because I want to start back again."
Right.
But he
Right.
said, and he said, "Please
So
go on." He said, "Okay, yeah, please go on."
so what allowed you, what allowed you to go back, like basically, is there a certain thing that we can learn from this experience, or this was just one off? Or are you saying that when you when you feel disconnected, or when you are stuck, or when you're not getting the momentum that you need, do you
Yeah, yeah,
are you saying that taking a break like you did for 8 months away from acting could be a
yeah.
mechanism, or is it just a one-off thing that happened with you, and you have a better way to help people deal with a
Some
certain setback or certain challenge in their life? What would you say to that?
having said that, it wasn't. If you actually see, it wasn't a break.
Okay.
Even if I am just not profession, I'm not earning in that period, you can say that.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not that when I took a 6 months, 7 months sabbatical, it doesn't mean that I stopped being an actor.
Right.
Actor in me was still living.
Understood.
I was more in touch with life. I was just not professionally earning, you can say that. But I was,
Understood.
my mind was working. I was actively involved in life and other things and blah blah.
Great.
And I was intentionally not thinking about any project that, oh, I have the obligation to just get up in the morning and show up on set, and there were 200 people are waiting for me to give a good shot.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
just I understood, because I kind of tried to strike a right balance between living. That's what I was telling you.
Understood.
Living a life, and
Hmm.
being a little goal oriented. If you be too goal oriented, no,
Understood. Understood.
goals are good. Goals are very good. You need to. It brings you clarity. It brings you confidence. It brings you a lot many things.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
If it to each his own. Sometimes what happens when you become too much result oriented,
Yeah.
you
You,
stop enjoying the process.
yeah, you just keep running.
You keep running, you become
Exactly.
so result oriented, you put your eye blinkers on and you just keep running for it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes
Right.
staying focused is good. I also do that sometimes staying focused is another thing. But that's not focus when you're not living your process. You are complaining about each and every small things, about every single thing, because
Understood.
things will never happen the way you want them to happen. It is
Okay.
just, you need to be very very patient with everything, and everything will just solve. I'll give you a
Right. Right.
very beautiful example.
Sure.
I happened to visit California,
Mm-hmm.
and I am, like I told you, I'm
Hmm.
very adventurous and all of that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm basically, I took the training. Well, not I'm not without sounding pompous.
Right.
I fly paragliders also.
Oh, great.
So
Wow. Mm-hmm.
paramotor gliders, and
Sure.
I was in California, where my mom's side, the entire family is in US. So I was just spending some time there. I was learning paramotors and everything. So even if when I take time off, I'm learning something. So I happened to meet a gentleman who was teaching me. So
Okay.
although there was a class of 3 people, there are 3 people mandatorily have to be there, so that, because there's a van, there's an expense to it. So I told that gentleman, I said, you don't worry about the expense. I want to just spend time and understand. I want to, even if we'll start waiting for 2 other people to join, I will run out of my time, and I only have 20 days with me right now.
Got it.
And I had to finish my part 1 training. So there are, like, part 1 training was about for 20 days, and like
All
this,
right.
we have 10 parts training. So you need to fly for a specific amount of hours before you attain your license. So I
Okay.
was understanding with him. He was so he was such a master of his craft
Okay.
that with the way I was struggling with every single thing, and he was so swift, so patient, and I was again and again making mistakes. He was
Okay.
so patient. He was so patiently telling me. He was so patiently telling me everything, and
Yeah.
even if things were going wrong, at
Hmm.
least 10 times things must have went wrong, but he so patiently understood the situation, understood my frustration, understood that why it is not happening. And
Okay.
again, every single time I was forgetting, he was repeating the same thing for about 20 days. He did the same thing.
Wow.
The amount of patience you need is, and I realize he is such a master of his craft because he kept a lot of patience. And
Right.
on 20th day, in 19th day, I started flying. And the first time when I flew in the air, and he was so happy, he was so happy. I still remember that voice. I was on a walkie-talkie,
Right.
about 7 feet high from the ground. I was 7 feet
Okay.
above the ground, and I was on the walkie-talkie, and he said, Manit, you have done it. You made me feel proud. And when I
Awesome.
landed and I hugged him, and I told him, I said, I want to see you flying. I can't tell you,
Mm.
he was so swift, he was so clear with everything. And I realized that he has spent number of
Master his
years
craft. Yeah.
to master his craft. This craft could be anything. Sometimes
Understood.
to im-
Understood.
to improve to improve your health is
Right.
your
Right.
craft. Like I was trying to learn paramotor.
Right.
It could be improving your health. It could be improving your
Understood.
relationship. It could be improving your
Right.
professional career. It could
Right.
be giving up drugs, alcohol, cigarette, or whatever it is.
Understood.
It could.
So the key
So
thing is
you
to
can
have the patience that is
absolutely,
required to be there and be able to still keep doing the stuff, keep
yes,
moving forward, keep
yes,
doing whatever measure you can do, and you should
yeah.
keep moving forward. So help me understand one of the challenging times that you really had, and you thought that uh, that's it. I don't want to do acting, and I just want to give up. Maybe did you had any moment as such that where you thought, you know what, I don't want to do this. Any tough times during this entire career?
you know I, I I keep thinking like that. I keep thinking like that. But these are just useless thoughts which keeps troubling you
Okay.
with something or another. This
Okay.
will never go off. For the
Okay.
rest of your life, sometimes because your lives and your mind and your body is like that anything which is difficult, which is challenging, your body and mind doesn't want to do it. So
Wow. True.
your body and mind resists. Your body and
Right.
mind resists. So whenever because every day I get up in the morning 5:30 and I go for the run, or I do my yoga practice, or my
Right.
do my my some of my voice practices or something like that. So
True.
it's a difficult task. you
Yeah.
know I could choose. My body and my mind tells me that what the fuck are you doing with yourself? I just want to aram say I
Mm.
just want to lie down on my bed and
Yeah.
just rest. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And a part of my brain tells me just get up. It's a discipline. You have discipline you have committed to, and it has shown results for you. It works for you. Why you skipping it?
Awesome.
It is
Awesome.
the choice you make at that moment. It is
True.
the choice you
True.
make. So every single thing, every day,
True.
day in and day out, maybe sometimes multiple times in your day, you have that thought in your mind. It is like that. Have you ever seen the para commando training? How the special forces para commando training happens? When
Sorry.
they're
What?
putting you through the training,
Para
the
company? You mean?
the special
Oh
forces
yes.
para commando
Yes.
training,
Yes.
the commando,
Yes. Yes.
the
Yes.
para commando training. When that training happens,
Hmm.
there is one guy next to you. He's ready with the form in the hand, and I've seen that.
Yeah.
While you are going, there is 36 hours non-stop you have to work. 36 hours non-stop you have to do exertion. You have to
Yeah.
exert. You have to reach to the peak of your physical power.
Yeah.
And there is a guy next to you. He's holding a form, and he's telling you, okay, you can't do it, sign it. You can't do it, sign it. You can't do it, sign it and leave. Sign it and leave.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
check your
Yeah. Yeah.
mental
100%.
strength.
100%.
They play with they
100%.
they play with your mind, that how much, how soon you give up, how
Yeah.
soon you give up.
Yeah.
That's the reason. if
Yeah.
if there
Manit,
are one
one. Yeah, one thing that going back a little bit, what you mentioned, that there are a couple of things that that brings in together what we have in right now, the conversation, right? First, that you mentioned that you have to be patient. You have to keep doing the same mundane things, routine, and they may
Absolutely.
sound routine, they may sound boring, but they are for the greater good. And
Absolutely.
quite a lot of times I've noticed, I also have gone through a certain challenging phase, and but I still have to get up, I still have to do it. What I realize in my case, and I'm sure that there are a lot of other cases as well, there is some driving force that helps you move forward. So what is how can you frame that driving force? What was the driving force for you, first of all? Okay, mujhe karna hi hai. I have to get up, and I have to do it no matter how whether I like it, whether my body wants to do it or not, but I have to do it. What was that driving force, a thought, or whatever the case may be? What was it that actually helped you to move up and still do those things?
Irfan, to be very, very honest, I can say very beautiful things which will look very good, but on
Hmm.
a very practical level, when you do it, one thing doesn't work.
Okay.
Every day there are different thought which pushes you, and sometimes it doesn't push you, and it's okay. It's just another day.
Hmm.
Sometimes they say
Okay.
you have
Okay.
to take one step behind to walk two steps forward.
Bravo. Well
Sometimes
done.
you
That's
have to
great.
walk one step behind to walk two steps forward. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just okay. Sometimes
Yeah.
even if you are unable to push yourself, it's just fine.
Sure.
It's just
Sure.
fine.
Hmm.
Just
Makes
live
sense.
with that thought. Just live with that thought. You give yourself a treat. If you have achieved it for 5 6 days, if you're
Hmm.
giving one day of rest, it's just okay. It's fine. If seventh day you're not pushing yourself, it's just okay. It's no problem. Maybe
Brilliant.
go lightly, maybe go a little gentle on yourself. Listen to yourself, no problem.
Got it.
Given that day, given, no
Got it.
problem. You don't want to do it, don't do it. It's okay.
Got it. Got it.
Charge yourself for the day after.
Awesome.
So it's always like then. Sometimes what pushes you is music around you. Sometimes what
Mm.
pushes you is your dream. every
Yeah.
day if you every day if you go with an idea, no, I have to achieve this, I have to be that
Yeah.
man, I have to be this, I have to make 10 crores, and I have to make $10 million, and I have to make this thing, I have to make. That's the constipated way of living life.
Awesome. Brilliant. What a
it's
thought
n-
process.
it's
Yeah, it's true.
no, it's
It's
not going
true.
to work that way. It's not
Yeah,
going to work
exactly.
that way.
Exactly. 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 So,
So
what
every day it's different.
so Manit, what is that one thing that you really want people to understand, and
No,
people.
sorry, I'm cutting you. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
cutting
sure,
you.
sure.
Sorry, I'm cutting you. Just want
Sure.
to take same thing again.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the reason why I say, if you live your life and if you enjoy the process,
Mm.
and while you are genuinely living the process, don't act to live it. Don't act. No, no, no. मैं तो जी रहा हूँ. नहीं, नहीं, नहीं. Don't. When you genuinely live the process,
Okay.
you will get your motivation to be there.
Awesome.
You will get in that process. When you're living the process, one
Yeah.
thing or two thing, you will get it every day. Maybe one simple thing, sometimes maybe that one call from somebody, maybe uh, a sight of a beautiful scene, maybe something,
Yeah. Yeah.
something, someone's experience, maybe some music. If you live the process every day, you will understand that, oh, this is the very beautiful, this is what is pushing me right now.
Got it.
You can take that one thing, because supposedly, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example, because
Sure.
what we are talking about it is, there could be many meanings to it. So I do not want to confuse people in a way that sometimes while I am living, if I completely focused, no, I will today, I'll go to gym and I'll finish off 10 things and blah blah, some or blah blah stuff. Supposedly I get up in the morning and I say that, okay, I've got 10 things lined up today,
Okay.
and by the time I finish 5, I said, no, yaar, now I cannot do it any further. But
Mm.
suddenly there is a phone call from your friend,
Right.
and you just take a moment and you attend the phone call, and your friend tells you that, dude, I learned something from you. How cool you are. I learn a lot from you. You're such an inspiring person. But the
Right.
reality is, somewhere in your heart, you're feeling feeling that you're an uninspired man. What? But you are giving an inspiration to somebody. That phone call, if you
Got it.
live that phone call, if you live that phone call, that phone call will push you to achieve another five things. That's how
True.
you'll complete.
True. An
You
amazing
need to live.
example that you
You
gave to you clarify the entire thing that you're saying. Amazing example. I understood what you're trying to
yeah,
say here. Brilliant, brilliant.
yeah,
What a
yeah,
great
yeah,
value that you have
yeah.
added, Manit, to this entire conversation. See, now
No, no, yeah.
I want to know from Manit, what is it that you really want? If you have to change one thing about human beings, the way they live, the way they move forward, the way they deal with what is that one thing that you really like as a message that you want to give it out to everyone out there?
I think the one thing which I want to tell people is you are going to be dead. We all are with an expiry date.
Yeah.
Don't be dead serious about life. Sometimes it is good to take life seriously. Sometimes it is good to let it go. Do not burden yourself up with so many things. It is good. Seek clarity. That is important in your life, which will give you confidence. And even if you have clarity of just one step, maybe you do not have the clarity right now, you do not have the clarity for 10 steps, maybe you have
Right.
the clarity about one step. Just take that one step.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
do not underestimate the power of that one step. Just take
True.
that one step. The moment you walk on that one, the moment you achieve that one step, you need to understand that you are one step closer to your aim, to your goal, or whatever you have said, or you are one step closer to the second step.
Bravo.
So do not underestimate anything. Just live life. Life is very, very beautiful. It is meant to be lived. And that's all. It's a beautiful life. Do not waste it. We all have to move out someday. We all have a very limited time on this planet. We all have.
True.
And
True.
don't think that that I am not gonna die, my friend will die, or my neighbor will die. Don't think like that. You also have to go one day. We all have to go one day. But if you keep living with that constipated idea, in a confused state, in that, no, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, you have no idea what you can do. Trust me. I honestly, Irfan, when
Yep.
I entered into this industry,
Yes.
I didn't know, I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't even know the ways in the city.
Wow.
Ways.
Wow.
I
See,
didn't know how to dress. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to meet people. I didn't know anything about. I don't know about presentation. I didn't know about anything.
you
The
know,
only thing I have,
this is
the
something,
only thing, yeah,
what you are just
yeah.
telling me right now.
The
Again, I'm
only thing,
interrupting. What you are telling me right now is so valuable to anyone and everyone listening out there. It does not matter where you come from. It is only matter that where you are going and what are you going to do about it. So you classically say, you're saying that you have you had no clue, but you build yourself up with dedication, with commitment, with living the life as it comes. At times days were good, at times days were bad, but you stuck to it, right? What you really want to achieve for your life. And you have given so much value with this just one last thing that you just told me, that because a lot of the time people don't even think what is possible for them. They don't even go
and
and comprehend.
addition,
Yes.
in addition, in addition to this, I just want to say that supposedly if you have set the goal that you want to be here, trust me, you have devoted your time and energy to decide that goal, you will reach there. Don't be You should be happy about that goal. You should not be troubled about the magnitude of that goal. Oh, I have set this far a goal, how would I reach there? And then people get disturbed. No, you don't have to disturb. You
Yeah.
just have to be committed and let your life energy follow in that one direction. Don't keep changing the direction. Don't
Yep.
keep
Most
changing your,
important.
if when I was coming from Rishikesh and my headlight conked off, and if I would be keep changing the directions, would I be able to reach to my destination? Never. I didn't have the
Of course
confidence
not.
to drive
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I followed somebody. I followed someone else's vision, and he left me at a point where I could see clearly.
Bravo.
And I started driving. But what I did was I drove in one direction, right, continuously throughout, till the time
Bravo.
I had my own confidence to drive myself. So you need
Bravo.
to understand that. Don't keep changing your positions. It's just decide one thing for yourself and be happy about it. Don't be troubled about it. When
Awesome.
once you're happy about it, it will happen sooner or later. It will happen. See, you will achieve that. If you
Awesome.
are, even if you are close to it, and even if you don't won't be able to achieve it, the what you achieve it will be much more benefited than what you said to achieve. Because if you live it, if you be happy about it, the happiness, that's why I'm saying you need to live. You need to just live.
Awesome.
It is
Awesome.
beautiful. It is beautiful to live
So,
and just walk on this beautiful path.
so Manit, people listening to you out there, of course, first of all, thank you so much for giving so much of your time and so much insights and
No, that's okay.
understanding through
That's okay.
metaphors, through your own ideas of living and how people can move forward, how can they can enjoy the journey. Apart from that, what is it that you want them to be looking forward, like maybe your work, maybe where they can find you, or and look up what you are doing, how you are progressing, what is it that you want to give them like
Well,
a call for them basically.
yeah. Wow. Thank you for being so thoughtful about this, and I'm glad, and I hope that people will find some, this information. It'll add a little value to their life, even if it doesn't add it. It's just fine. It's just they can enjoy the
I
conversation.
am
There,
sure they would love the work,
yeah,
and
but
I've seen the work as
yeah,
well, and they would
yeah.
want to know. They would want to know, right? So where they can
Sometimes,
go and what they can look up. Yes.
sometimes what I do when I like, you never know what strikes you. If a statement or if something like I like it, I write it down. So I keep
Sure.
revisiting it. Or if I like some particular speech or something like that, I keep listening to it while I'm driving. So it
Sure.
kind of refreshes me, like that. And coming back to where they can find me, well, although I'm not a very social media person, but slowly I'm realizing the power of social media. It's very, very important that we
True. True.
reach
True.
out to people. And I was not enthusiastic as my team was, so they keep pushing me every day. I am a kind of person, I pay a lot of attention to my craft than social media, but my team
Understood.
keep pushing me to so they can find me almost on all the platforms. I'm there on
Bravo.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I've got a beautiful show which I'm doing right now called Kundi Bhagya. It's doing very well in India and abroad.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's on ZTV. It comes on 9:30 to 10 p.m. and I'm doing one web series. It's called Barish Season 2.
Oh, great.
And yeah, it's gonna be. It was supposed to come on 8th of April. We were supposed to release it, but due to COVID-19, we have
Okay.
postponed it. And I think as and when people's life will get all right, some normal things will come back to
Sure.
our lives, and then we'll start. And there are other things I'm working on right now, but I just don't know how it will take shape. Reason being of this lockdown.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
and
Sure. Sure.
and I keep my social media updated about whatever I do, so they can find me there. And I put
Bravo.
some goofy pictures also there, so they can.
You should, right? Living the journey,
Yeah,
right? Exactly.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Bravo, bravo. Thanks a million, Manit, for coming
No,
here and enlightening a lot of us out there,
my pleasure,
giving your
Irfan.
ideas, giving your thought process. And I'm sure there's
My
so much
pleasure,
value
Irfan.
that can be taken. And guys,
Absolutely,
look him up, listen to the man. He's done so well. He has a lot of, I'm sure you, with this conversation, you realize how deep a thinker is, how he has put things together and how he kept moving forward and is still going forward. So love you all, guys. Thank you so much, Manit. And thanks once again for being on this podcast for myself,
thank you,
for the
Irfan.
audience, that
Thank
are
you,
listening to you. Thank you so much, Manit. Thanks a lot. And all the
thank
best
you,
for your
thank you,
future, buddy.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.